Welcome to ExceedTheHype.com. It's your boy Lucrecio back at you with another video, and today is 10 reasons the Cleveland Cavaliers will win the 2015 NBA championship. Alright, now I know what you're thinking. How on earth can anybody say that they're going to win the championship? Not a single game has been played and the roster's not even finalized as of yet. Well, this is why. I'm going to give you 10 reasons, and if you're still uncomfortable with me saying will, you can think of it as 10 reasons they can or they're going to be capable of winning the championship. But when it comes to me, I'm saying they will win the 2015 championship, all right? And this is why. Number 10, the vulnerability of the Eastern Conference in the NBA. So, the Eastern Conference, a lot of people say it's weak, and that's correct. The Eastern Conference has about 3 teams with a legitimate shot at contending for the Eastern Conference crown, and with one of the teams being the real contender and 2 other ones just being a possible outlier. So, with that said, a team with LeBron James on it, the Cleveland Cavaliers have a window of about 5 years where they can make it. They can literally make it to the finals every year, possibly. All right. So, with the weakness of the Eastern Conference, that's one reason they have a good chance of winning the championship in 2015. All right. Number 9, the veteran presence surrounding LeBron James in Cleveland. So when LeBron James left Miami and went to Cleveland, he didn't just go alone. He brought in Mike Miller from Memphis, who had won a championship previously with the Miami Heat, 2, I believe. He also brought with him James Jones, a player that has been on the bench but, has helped from time to time. Veteran player, been in the NBA many years. And then he also potentially brings Ray Allen, all right? And we all know Ray Allen, all right? So, there's 3 factors behind that make those acquisitions. Even though they're all relatively old players, it's a legit acquisition. And because, number 1, there is guys. Any adjustment is easier when you got your guys with you. All right. Number 2, they're all good players. Like, they're all really good shooters or whatever. They're going to help him spread the floor. And number 3, they're all battle tested. They all have been, with him in the battles to make it to the finals, and then helped him to win the finals. Some playing big parts. Ray Allen and Mike Miller played incredibly huge parts in the Heat championships. Well, the second one for Ray Allen and both of them for Mike Miller. So having that veteran leadership to assist him there with all those young guns is going to be a big factor, and another reason why they have a very good chance of winning the championship. All right. Number 8, Kyrie Irving's maturation process. Now, a lot of people assume automatically that if Kevin Love comes, or when he comes on August 23rd, whatever you want to say, that he's going to be the 3rd option on the team, similar to how Chris Bosh was the 3rd option on the Miami Heat. And that, in my opinion, that's not going to be the case. Kyrie Irving will be the primary ball handler, the primary distributor, and the 3rd option on offense. Kevin Love, assuming that he gets there, will be the 2nd option. All right. Kyrie Irving, I believe his scoring will go down from I think he averages like about 17, 18 points a game. I do think it's going to go down to about 15, maybe even as low as 12, 13, whatever. But I think he's going to see a rise in his assists to close to 10. And I do think his assist-to-turnover ratio is going to be high. All right? So, high or low, whichever is the good assist-to-turnover ratio, whatever. So, number 7, I think the Cavaliers will first acquire some very good pieces to play defense. All right, I think their defensive strategy is going to be really strong. All right, they're going to pay a lot of emphasis to the defensive side of the basketball. So, 2 positions that I believe are going to be primary focuses in the Cavs in this offseason to shore up is going to be center and also the shooting guard position, all right? And I think both of them are going to contain very defensive-minded players. Like, for the center position, they have Varejao, but in addition to Varejao, I've been hearing names like Emeka Okafor being thrown around, all right? If they get Okafor, if he can still play, which we don't know that he can play We haven't seen him in a couple of years. But if he can still play and he can still protect that rim, I think he's going to be a very big factor protecting the rim, back in the shoring up a front line that contains him and Kevin Love, somebody who's known not to be a great defender. And then the second one, shooting guard. To me, the ideal shooting guard for this situation would be Iman Shumpert, somebody who plays very good perimeter defense and, you know, can hit the occasional corner three-pointer. But I've also heard names such as Shawn Marion thrown out there. Now, Shawn Marion isn't a shooting guard, obviously, but he's obviously a great defender, all right? And I've also heard names like Corey Brewer being thrown out there, being a part of the Minnesota deal that would potentially bring Kevin Love over. Either way, you're going to need somebody in that shooting guard position to shore it up, to play defense alongside Kyrie Irving, possibly switch over when you have some of the more potent point guards in the NBA playing, all right? So they're going to shore up their defense and also create a very strong defensive strategy, I believe, all right? So reason number 6, the team building. I think the Cavaliers are going to build a very strong team chemistry led by LeBron James. When he was there the first time, those teams were very, very seemingly close-knit teams or whatever, and it showed on the court. That one year, I believe it was 2008, 2009, when they lost to the Orlando Magic in the conference finals. That team won 66 games during the regular season with a point differential of about 9.8 points a game or something ridiculous. They were blowing every team out they played, basically the whole season. When you have players, a leader like LeBron James or whatever, who, you know, raises the level of play of all the players around him, typically it's going to make for a good team chemistry. And then when you have pieces that fit together. So with a team like 2008, 2009, and even the 2009, 2010 team, even though I don't think their team was as close, but when you have a team like that that doesn't even have all the talented pieces that are still able to win over 60 games a season, what more is that team going to be like when you have pieces like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love and, you know, a lot of other Dion Waiters and Tristan Thompson, all these type of players contributing to the product? Is going to be as long as they all buy in, it's going to be a good product that's going to lead them to possibly winning the championship. All right. So reason number 5 is David Blatt's offense. Now, from what I've seen from David Blatt, he usually runs offense that's based on a lot of cuts, a lot of back screens, a lot of player movement, and also a lot of ball movement. All right. It's not going to be stagnant like how the prior Cavalier teams were when LeBron was there. I always have a mental visual of 2008, 2009 when they played the Orlando Magic, and there was literally a fourth quarter where every single point that Cleveland scored was either by LeBron or assisted by LeBron. They had him at the nail, is what Mike Brown called it at the time, and he was basically just they'd run one screen or 2 screens at him, and that was their offense. You don't have to worry about that with David Blatt. I think David Blatt has a lot of potential, even though he's unproven. But we've seen LeBron play for unproven coaches before and has had a great deal of success, whether it was Eric Spoelstra or Mike Brown or whatever the case may be. Now, Mike Brown was a very, very good defensive coach, but he was a very bad offensive coach adversely, all right? So I think David Blatt has a lot of potential, and because of that, in the playoffs, they're going to have a system that they can depend on. And with that system, that's going to help elevate them to a championship-type level team. Reason number 4, Kevin Love's skill set. Now, I think Kevin Love, though overrated, and I still hang on to the fact that I think he's overrated and his stats are inflated, but playing with LeBron James is like another piece of the puzzle that fit together, all right? LeBron James and Kevin Love's game go together. If you look at what the Miami Heat tried to do with Chris Bosh, they essentially tried to create Chris Bosh, make Chris Bosh into a Kevin Love type player, which is somebody who spends a whole lot of time on the perimeter, shooting threes to spread the floor to create space for LeBron to operate. Now, naturally, Chris Bosh isn't that type of player, and Kevin Love is that guy. So naturally, Kevin Love and LeBron James on the court go together perfectly, and because their skill sets match so perfectly, that's going to help build the team chemistry also that I was talking about in the past reason, and once again propel them. They're going to be quite the duo, and that's going to propel them to winning the championship, in my opinion. All right. Reason number 3 is what I call the youngster progression. Now, what I mean by that is, even though Wiggins is going to be on the way out, Anthony Bennett's going to be on the way out, first round pick's going to be on the way out, the Cavaliers are still not an old team. They still have a lot of young pieces on that team, on that roster to develop and can continue to develop and become good players in this league. One of those players, Dion Waiters, all right? Now, what Dion Waiters needs to do is to relish the 6-man role. I don't believe he will start on this team. I think he's going to be a 6-man. If he embraces that role and becomes like how James Harden kind of was on the Oklahoma City Thunder, he will be okay. If not, if he does not accept the role, they're going to ship him out, all right, in my opinion. I personally think he will embrace the role playing next to LeBron, coming off the bench, being a change of pace type combo guard, especially during times when LeBron is the primary ball handler, when maybe Kyrie Irving is on the bench. I do think that will be the role for him. He will be able to have like kind of a green light to get up some shots, take the ball to the basket, things of that nature. And I think he would really relish that role, be successful in that role, and be somewhat of a player similar to what how Dwayne Wade played next to LeBron in Miami. I think Dion Waiters has that type of ability, and I do think, not to say that he's as good or comparable to Dwayne Wade or anything like that, because that's not what I'm saying, but a similar role, similar playing style next to LeBron James. And the second youngster that I think needs to develop more in that situation, it will be Tristan Thompson. Now, I think of Tristan Thompson as a junkyard dog type player, energy player off the bench, all right? I think he will when he gets in the game, I think he'll get in the game with a lot of energy. I think he'll grab every single rebound that's available. He'll jump up there, grabbing rebounds, swinging elbows. I think, blocking a couple shots and basically raising the level of intensity of the game. Get in there, play hard, energy, rebound, offensive rebound, things of that nature. That's going to be Tristan Thompson. He's going to be an off the bench energy rebounder. Like when I say junkyard dog, I mean junkyard dog. Get in there, bully some people around, grab every rebound. I think that's going to be the role that Tristan Thompson plays on this team, and it's going to be off the bench. I don't see him starting. He's undersized, but I do see him being a very effective player on this team. Reason number 2 that the Cavaliers will win the championship this year is going to be perimeter shooting and floor spacing. They are creating possibly the ideal environment for LeBron James to operate, to be the best player in the world. Think about a situation where you have a lineup of Kevin Love playing the center position, LeBron playing the ball handling power forward. You have Mike Miller in the small forward position. You have Ray Allen, shooting guard, and Kyrie Irving as the point guard. That is a team. That is 4 perimeter shooters and 1 person penetrating. All right. There's not going to be a way to double team LeBron to keep him out the lane. He's basically going to go in the lane time after time and dig the heart of the defense out. Just dig it out the whole game. And if you try to collapse on him, he's going to kick it out to the perimeter and to one of these shooters. If you rotate to the perimeter, it's going to go to the next shooter. That's a combination with those types of deadly shooters and somebody who can get to the basket and finish with contact, 3-point play after 3-point play. It's basically pick your poison, and you're not going to be able to really stop either one. You can try to swarm. They're still going to be able to move the ball faster than you can swarm and adjust. It's just a situation that it's a combination of interior presence. Well, not interior presence, but penetration and space on the floor or whatever that's going to cause a matchup nightmare for defenses. If you have to clog the lane to try to stop LeBron, you're not going to have the the manpower to get out to the perimeter to stop the shooters. All right, that dynamic on the court with LeBron James and those shooters is the second reason why they're going to be a championship contender or win the championship in 2015. The number one reason why they're going to win the championship in 2015 is that LeBron is the most elite player in the NBA. There's not anybody ready to take him down at this point. All right. Outside of Tim Duncan, I don't really see anybody else. And Tim Duncan's the old sheriff or whatever, so he's going to be on his way out as well. But other than that, and to a lesser degree, maybe Kobe, but Kobe's not going to be in a position to contend, in my opinion. There's not anybody else ready to take down the king. And if there's nobody ready to take him down, he's going to dominate the NBA for the next couple of years. But mainly next year, all right? And this is another factor. I believe that LeBron James owns a couple teams, and the teams that he owns are probably the teams that probably are in the best position to try to knock him off, but they're not going to, all right? One team, the number one team that I believe that he owns the heart and he owns them mentally is the Chicago Bulls. Now, we see in years past, Chicago plays tough. Chicago will push them around and try to bully them and try to intimidate them. They'll curse and fight and, assault the Heat or the Cavaliers or whatever, because LeBron played the Bulls with the Cavs a while back as well. But ultimately, he makes quick work. LeBron teams make quick work of the Chicago Bulls. The last couple times, it was all the media hype about the Bulls and the Heat and their 5-game series. The year before that, 5-game series. The year Derrick Rose, well, not the year before that, but the year Derrick Rose won the MVP 5-game series. And this is MVP Derrick Rose. So, even they play hard and they battle, but ultimately LeBron owns them because they can't beat him. All right? The next team or person that I feel like LeBron James owns mentally and owns the heart of is Kevin Durant. Now, of everybody in the league, Kevin Durant is probably the person in a position to try to challenge LeBron, but he can't. Even though he tries, one thing I've kind of noticed, and this is my own psychoanalysis or armchair analysis of Kevin Durant playing against LeBron James. When LeBron James asserts himself against Kevin Durant seems to back away from the challenge almost every time. Now, not saying that he doesn't play well against LeBron. There was a game last season in Miami where it was a shootout. LeBron had like 33 points, I think. Kevin Durant had 31, or some similar, 34 to 33, something like that. And it seemed like it was a good game for Kevin Durant. But when they went to OKC, it was a different story. They came out to play. LeBron James, first thing took Kevin Durant in the post, scored on him, took him in the post, scored on him. And it seemed like that alone just took Kevin Durant's heart for the rest of the game. And kind of the same dynamic in the finals. The first game, Kevin Durant came out playing hard. They won the first game. The Heat dominated them the next 4. LeBron just took Kevin Durant in the post and ate him up in the post the whole series. Kevin Durant, in my opinion, backs down to the challenge when it's LeBron. And because of that, I don't believe he can take LeBron James down. I really don't believe that. The Indiana Pacers are the third entity, the team that LeBron James owns the heart and owns them mentally. We remember a couple years ago, you had Mr. Danny Granger, and he said, I'm going at these guys, I'm tough, I'm going to beat my chest the whole series, I'm going to scream, talk mess, I'm going to get in their faces of Dwayne Wade and LeBron, and lose in 6 games. Okay, no problem. Next year, they change it up a little bit. It's no longer Danny Granger's team. Now it's old Paul George's team. Paul George comes out there. He plays his heart out against LeBron. They have moments or whatever. Essentially, it doesn't go the Pacers' way. The Heat still beat them. Then we have this past year. The whole season, all we heard about was Pacers Heat. Oh, the Heat can't beat the Pacers this year. They're too big. They're a bunch of trees. They're different. They're tougher. This, Lance Stevenson. They have all these guys. The Heat can't beat them this year. And what happens? the Heat beat them worse this year than any of the past years put together. Just terrible. He owns that team, and now it's even worse because of all the recent events. Lance Stevenson is gone now. That was a big loss, and then we all saw the unfortunate events of the U.S. basketball exhibition where Paul George injured himself, so he's going to be out next season. So Pacers aren't going to be really a factor next year. But I feel like LeBron owns that team as well. And the fourth one is a little bit tricky. And in my opinion, I think LeBron owns Carmelo Anthony as well. All right. Now, Carmelo plays him tough every time. All right. And I know Carmelo may even have the head-to-head battle regular season advantage, maybe. But I suspect that LeBron James has a mental edge over Carmelo Anthony. I really suspect it. The sample size is too small. They only played each other one time in the playoffs. But I do believe that there's a bit of a mental edge over Carmelo Anthony. It kind of reminds me of the dynamic that Tracy McGrady and Kobe Bryant had. Now, it seemed like every time they played head-to-head, Tracy McGrady was trying to showcase to show that he's on the same level as Kobe, whereas Kobe wasn't really concerned with that. Kobe was just worried about taking down that team. And it's kind of, I tend to feel like that dynamic is similar to LeBron and Carmelo. I feel like when Carmelo plays LeBron, he's playing LeBron to showcase, look, I'm on the same level as you, and LeBron's just doing what he has to do to take that team out. And I don't think it's going to change. I don't think number one, I don't think the Knicks are going to be in a position to really challenge the Cavaliers. But even if they do, I think LeBron has a bit of a mental edge over Carmelo. But once again, that I suspected. All right, the sample size is too small to really tell. Basically, like I said, there's in my opinion, there's no young stars that's ready to take down the king at this point. All right, age is definitely a factor. If you would have told me that Paul Pierce would join that Wizards team with John Wall and Bradley Beal earlier, like maybe a season or two ago or something like that, I would say, okay, maybe. Because Paul Pierce has that fire to take down LeBron, potentially. But him joining that team, I don't think that's going to make that big of a difference. It'll be interesting, but I don't think it'll make that big of a difference. Kobe won't be on a contending team. And I do think Tim Duncan and the Spurs are the main threat to the Cleveland Cavaliers this season. All right. I personally think that LeBron James is going to relish the idea of sending Tim Duncan into retirement by tying up their series and their rivalry 2-2. All right. So I do think at the end of this season, this upcoming season, it'll come down to the Cleveland Cavaliers on one side and Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs on the other side. Tim Duncan, LeBron, part 4. And I do think LeBron will take down Tim Duncan and let Tim Duncan ride off into the sunset, tied up with their rivalry 2-2. All right, those are my 10 reasons I think the Cleveland Cavaliers will win the championship. And let me know what you think. I know it's going to be a lot of talk about, it's too early to tell. But, hey, this is what I do. Remember, LeBron James returning to the Cleveland Cavaliers video 8 months early. So we'll see what happens, all right? Subscribe to the page. Subscribe to the website, man. I finished all the updates on the website, so subscribe to the website. And see you next time.